I'm doing a real quick video on what I wish I had known when I was looking for Porter backpacks for my 9-person family. I thought used was a really good deal, and I didn't realize there were several different versions and what the differences were. So I bought several, and I thought I would do a video real quick just to explain the different pockets and elements and pros and cons. Okay, so the oldest looking one that I've gotten is this one. Now these end up looking a little bit wider. This one seems to be wider than the others. If you measure it, 14. This one is, and this is 13. So it is wider. This is an inch wider on the back square as opposed to a newer model. They both have straps. These straps are a little more flimsy, you know, so to speak. You can still tuck it in here. But down here, if you'll notice, this is padded at the hip. This is not. This is just a strap, basically. It's there, it's just not as nice. And the next thing, handles are pretty good. This newer version has kind of like a cushion. This doesn't have the same kind of cushion. It does have the adjustment straps at the top. The thing that got me was the front with the pockets. There's two things actually that really were important to me. The rest of the models that I have a place for a laptop. This older version does not have a laptop. So if you're buying it on Facebook or eBay, you're going to want to ask, where does the laptop go? You can slide a 17-inch laptop in these nicely. It does have a nice thick padding here, but for a Porter, if your stuff goes on the floor, it's really not ideal to have your laptop on the floor, but maybe you could prop it up. I don't know. It can work, but it wasn't what I really wanted. The pockets is the thing. It has one pocket on the side, and it has a pocket on the mesh. There's no pockets up here, whereas the newer models, they do have pockets on the front. This does have a pocket up here, just like all the other ones. The thing that I really like about the older ones, they really do look like they hold quite a bit more. So that's the downside of the newer ones, is they look like they're actually getting smaller. So if you're going for a bigger bag, you have to decide if pockets is important to you. Ideally, maybe you have a laptop that you're carrying in your smaller carry-on, the personal item. If you can find a backpack that size, and this is just your junk. The one reason that Porters are such an ideal to me, because we're looking to travel for 6 months to a year, need a place, a bin of some kind to just chuck your clothes so they're not everywhere. So that's why I like these. The newer models have less space to chuck your clothes. This is a newer, not newest. They made a laptop sleeve in the front. So this has more pockets, which I like. This is kind of what I thought I was getting when I was looking for these. Very first pocket, so there's a pocket here for easy access. And then this is very nice. This is where you're supposed to put the laptop. It'll fit a 15-inch pretty easily. It's got a smaller one for tablet. It's very well padded, but again, if you are going to put your stuff on the floor, that means your laptop is in the lid. And maybe if you're traveling and you don't have a lot of kids, you can just put your stuff on a desk and it's fine. But otherwise, here's where the laptop goes. Not crazy ideal. This one sits open nicely, real nice. I like that better, but if you notice, this doesn't hold itself open. This does. I really, really love that. So this is like the in-between version between the brand new one, the older one. It does hold it, and it has pockets on both sides, which I also like. No pocket on here. It does have a pocket up here. This one is not as deep as the older one. This older one has like this really big, it's kind of a tank. It's really got a lot of space. I think this is going to hold more. This is the newest version that they have. Something that I noticed right away was these flaps. There's a lot of material in these flaps. Whereas my zipper on this one comes up right here within about 1.5 inches. This is like 3-4 inches of flap. Okay, so this one, there is this handle. It's even more attached. If you look at here's this handle. It's a little shorter. This one actually has more padding. This one's longer. It's padded. So the two biggest things is, one is this. You could have made the bag bigger this way. I don't understand the point of that. So this actually inhibits you from throwing stuff in. So the laptop sleeve actually is on the side. That's what I love about the newer ones. And it should fit a 17-inch. Straps are all the same. Padding, when you pull this out, is still better than the very first one. It's got more padding at the back. That's the biggest thing right here, is that this laptop sleeve, it does go from top to the bottom. It goes to right about here. It doesn't actually go all the way down to the bottom. And this is more padding, I'd say by a little bit, than the other one, and it seals. So you have your straps here, you have your zip for your laptop. Handles, yeah, it's slightly different, but I think I prefer this handle for smaller hands. This is a more narrow grip. So again, this one is my preference for a bag. So on the inside, in the pockets, since they're not really focusing on padding or a laptop, it's thinner, it's deeper than this. This one goes down to, see the bag ends here and this stops here. This one actually goes all the way down to the bottom. It's kind of like another compartment for clothes. It's not just for your pockets and knickknacks and laptops and whatnot. It does have a shower case that's probably about, I don't know, 8 inches deep. And it's got a few pockets. So that's this pocket for, I don't know, dividing your stuff up. When I traveled across the country in the US, I did take this on the plane and it was fine. I didn't have to check it. That was this one. So here's the drawback for me. If you look at this, if you're looking for a bin to throw all your stuff in, it stops here. I don't know if that would work for other people. I really wanted a bin for my kids to be able to chuck their stuff and it all stays in a bin. So I love this design. Also, it only holds this much. To me, it looks almost like a 30 liter. It doesn't really look like a 40 liter or 46. I also measured it, and you're really losing like an inch with the padding of the straps. There's 8 inches here. That's with me pushing down. This is going to be more like 8.5. This is flexible, so you can get almost 9 inches in this backpack. The other thing, that it doesn't open all the way. This one pretty much goes down to here and it stays open so that you have space for your stuff. This one kind of, I don't know, I guess it kind of stays open the same. I feel like it's going to stay together. You're not really going to get your stuff in. It's going to fall over the top unless you're crazy organized with your cubes. So that's what I wanted to know. This one does have pockets on both sides. They're also more shallow. These pockets, they're not as deep in my opinion. If you look at this one, make sure, if you see this one, you know, it's nice. You know, you can keep some things. These are little wells on the side to keep your stuff, which, and this one too, if you look at that, maybe part of it's the mesh is stretched out, but if you look at this, there is definitely more room in there than in these newer pockets. I mean, that's, so overall, and if you like this version, you have to ask where the laptop is supposed to be stored. If it's in the front, then that's going to be this version. If there's no pockets in the front, that's the oldest version. And they should go for a little bit cheaper. And then this one, and I didn't get the pocket on the top, I'll cover that real quick. The pocket on top, they did make it bigger again. So you can tell this is a really deep pocket as opposed to this one, which this one is, you know, it's kind of pretty. It's not that much to it, but if I had to take, if you're just grabbing something off the top, you don't want to have to really dig for something. As opposed to these really deep pockets for all your socks and underwear and dividing and whatever, you try to keep your stuff in certain areas. So that's what I wish I had known. I would have been able to identify instead of ordering it and realizing, oh, this is a lot more different than what I was hoping for. The new ones, you know, they're really crisp, really clean. They have some really nice colors. But this one is definitely my favorite. And I would have liked to have had the information to know what is the difference between the 3 Ospreys. There's probably another version. These are the 3 that I've come across. And this one, I think this one still holds the most. If you're going to go for just holding stuff, it's just a little more of a tank. But this one's my favorite because it has more pockets. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks.